The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet, some humans thought. Humanity had recently joined the interstellar community, sending diplomats and scientists to negotiate trade agreements, peace treaties, and exploratory missions with alien civilizations. Earth's leaders were proud of their achievement. For decades, humans had focused on survival, learning, and exploration. Now, they were ready to meet the galaxy on equal terms, or so they believed. Commander Leora Vance, a tall, sharp-eyed woman, stood on the bridge of the human diplomatic cruiser Horizon's Dawn. Her eyes scanned the view screen, where a swirling nebula painted the darkness of space in shades of violet and gold. The Zalari flagship, a sleek black triangular craft, floated silently in orbit around the disputed mining planet, Valara Prime. "Are we certain they will accept our terms?" Leora asked, her voice calm but edged with doubt. Ambassador Ren Takashi adjusted his ceremonial robes nervously. "Our analysis shows they are rational. They value negotiation and profit over conflict. If we offer them fair terms, they will agree." Leora frowned. "The Zalari have a history of aggression, Ambassador. Profit or not, I don't trust them to respect our limits." Ren shook his head. "Commander, Earth's policy is clear. We do not provoke. We extend hands of peace." Peace. Leora liked the word, but as she watched the Zalari flagship shimmer in the nebula's light, she felt a creeping unease. Something was wrong. Across the bridge, Communications Officer Enzo Real tapped on his console. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from the Zalari. They are demanding immediate surrender of Valara Prime's mining facilities." Leora's eyes widened. "Repeat that?" Enzo's fingers danced over the console. "They call it a show of authority. They say any resistance will be costly." Ren's face paled. "This must be a mistake. They received our proposals yesterday. Negotiations are scheduled in 2 days." Leora pressed a hand to her forehead. "Mistake or not, they've made their intentions clear. This isn't negotiation anymore. They're testing us." From the view screen, the Zalari flagship projected a holographic message, sharp, jagged shapes, and a deep, resonant voice in an alien tongue. Leora activated the translation module. The message played, "Human negotiators, step aside. The resources of Valara Prime are claimed by the Zalari. Resistance is illogical. Submit or suffer." The bridge fell silent. Even Enzo, normally calm under pressure, looked shaken. Ren spoke, his voice trembling slightly. "Commander, we must respond diplomatically. Threats will only escalate tensions." Leora's hand clenched the railing. "And if diplomacy fails? Do we just give up our colonies because someone thinks we are weak?" The room was heavy with tension. Leora knew that every second of indecision gave the Zalari an advantage. Humanity had entered the galaxy as negotiators, not conquerors, but they were learning quickly that not all civilizations respected words over weapons. Across Earth, the United Council convened an emergency session. President Alara Miles addressed the assembly. Her tone was firm, even as her eyes betrayed worry. "We cannot underestimate the Zalari. They believe our desire for diplomacy is weakness, yet we are committed to peace. Any military action must be last resort." A council member, General Arik Soto, leaned forward. "With respect, Madam President, the Zalari do not understand restraint. We cannot negotiate with a species that believes negotiation is cowardice. We have the technology to protect ourselves. We must act." Alara nodded slowly. "General, I understand your position, but humanity's future is tied to our reputation as peacemakers. Every star we visit must know we value diplomacy. Prepare defensive measures, yes, but do not escalate until all options are exhausted." Back at Valara Prime, Leora and her crew prepared for the Zalari inspection team. Scouts were already orbiting the mining colonies. Leora reviewed the protocols with her senior officers. "Remember," she said, her voice steady, "we follow the Council's orders. Show cooperation, but remain alert. Do not give them reason to believe we are weak." Enzo's fingers hovered over the console. "Commander, sensors detect Zalari boarding crafts approaching the surface. They're fast and heavily armed." Ren adjusted his robes, a hand trembling slightly. I suppose we must meet them. Peacefully." Leora exhaled slowly. "Peacefully, yes. But be ready for anything." The Zalari scouts landed with eerie precision, their dark hulls glinting under Valara Prime's twin suns. Humans gathered at the designated meeting site, weapons holstered, faces calm but tense. The Zilari emerged in angular exosuits, their eyes glowing faintly, scanning every human present. One Zilari stepped forward. Its voice, translated by human devices, was cold and smooth. "Humans, you claim rights to Valara Prime. You are mistaken. Withdraw." Ren stepped forward, holding his hands in the universal gesture of peace. "We are here to negotiate. We wish no conflict." The Zilari tilted its head. "Your words are empty. Only action is understood." Leora's heart sank. Diplomacy had failed, or perhaps it had never had a chance. Hours passed with tense dialogue. The humans presented maps, legal claims, and historical records proving their right to mine Valara Prime. The Zilari responded with silent stares, scanning, then issuing thinly veiled threats. As the sun set, casting long shadows across the mining colonies, Leora knew this meeting would not end peacefully. Every human present understood the stakes. Retreat meant humiliation, but resistance could trigger a war that humans were not yet ready for. Late that night, aboard Horizon's Dawn, Leora convened her senior officers. "We've tried diplomacy," she said quietly. "They do not respect it. And yet Earth's leaders forbid us from striking first." "What do we do?" Tactical Officer Jaren Cole leaned back in his chair. "We defend, Commander. If they attack, we respond. That's all we can do." Ren shook his head. "Even that risks escalation. If we fight, the Zilari will call it a declaration of war." Leora studied the faces around her. Fear, uncertainty, but also determination. Humanity was not weak. Humanity did not surrender easily. Somewhere deep in the defense grids and hidden docks of the galaxy, humans had a secret project, something the Zilari could never have anticipated. "Very well," Leora said finally. "We wait, but we prepare. And when the time comes, we will remind the galaxy that humans are not negotiators to be underestimated." Meanwhile, in a hidden orbital shipyard, massive construction beams moved with mechanical precision. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly on Aegis Prime, a warship unlike any other humanity had ever built. It was colossal, its hull layered with adaptive armor and its engines designed to traverse vast distances in moments. Its weapons could alter form and energy output based on enemy tactics, learning faster than any known AI. Dr. Celine Kaur, chief engineer, monitored the assembly. "Once completed, it will be the ultimate deterrent," she said, her eyes gleaming. "Not just a ship, it's humanity's promise. We will be ready for any threat, any deception, any betrayal." Her assistant, a young prodigy named Kai, nodded eagerly. "Do you think we'll have to use it soon?" Celine's lips pressed together. "I hope not. But humans are strong when cornered. If the galaxy doubts us, they will learn." And far above the mining planet, sensors aboard the Zilari flagship recorded every human movement, every spoken word, and every hidden signal. The aliens believed they were in control. They believed humans could be bargained with or intimidated. They were wrong. Somewhere in the darkness, Aegis Prime awaited its call, ready to cross the galaxies and show the true strength of humanity. The seeds of war had been sown, and humans, underestimated and underestimated again, were ready to fight. Not because they wanted war, but because survival, pride, and ingenuity demanded it. The galaxy had assumed humans would negotiate, but humanity had other plans. Deep in the hidden orbital shipyard above Earth, the final assembly of Aegis Prime continued. Its massive hull gleamed under the artificial lights, reflecting every gleaming panel and turret like a jewel of human ingenuity. The warship was a marvel, built not only for combat but for survival, capable of adapting to threats in ways no alien species could imagine. Dr. Celine Kaur walked along the observation deck, her boots echoing on the metal floors. Engineers and technicians moved around her like a well-coordinated swarm, adjusting machinery, running diagnostics, and monitoring energy flows. "Status report," Celine called to Kai, who hovered over a console displaying streams of code and schematics. "All systems nominal," Kai replied, eyes wide with excitement. "The quantum drives are fully calibrated, the adaptive shields are operational, and the weapon arrays are ready for testing." "She's perfect," Celine smiled faintly. "Perfect," she repeated almost to herself. "Not just a ship, Kai. This is humanity's statement to the galaxy. They believe we negotiate. They believe we are weak. Soon they will understand we are neither." Meanwhile, Earth's Council continued to debate the human response to the Zilari aggression. President Alara Miles addressed the assembly once more. "Humanity must remain a symbol of diplomacy," she said, her tone firm. "But we cannot ignore threats. The Zalari have seized Valara Prime's resources. We cannot allow them to set a precedent for the galaxy. Prepare defensive measures and activate Project Aegis." In secret, the activation protocol for Aegis Prime began. Massive energy conduits pulsed with power as the ship's systems came alive. The engines hummed, the shields shimmered, and adaptive AI networks began learning every known combat. Tactic.Commander Leora Vance received the classified briefing aboard Horizon's Dawn. The ship trembled slightly as the quantum engines of Aegis Prime roared to life. In its hidden dock, "Full activation?" Leora asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Yes," Celine replied through secure comms. "Once she launches, there is no turning back. The ship will adapt to any enemy, any environment. But she is only as strong as the crew guiding her." Leora's mind raced. Humanity had always been resourceful, always clever. But this was different. This was supreme. Far across the galaxy, the Zalari were celebrating what they thought was a human failure. They believed that Earth's desire for negotiation had weakened human resolve. Their fleets patrolled Valara Prime and neighboring systems, confident that resistance was minimal. Then, without warning, Aegis Prime launched. The human warship left Earth orbit in silence, slipping past detection arrays designed to spot even the smallest craft. Its quantum drives bent space around it, allowing near-instantaneous travel across vast distances. Sensors aboard the Zalari flagship flickered with static. What they had assumed was a stationary shipyard now contained a vessel in motion. Fast, silent, unstoppable. Leora stood on the bridge of Horizon's Dawn, watching as their secret weapon moved toward the frontier. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "And terrifying." "Terrifying to the enemy," Enzo corrected with a grin. "Not to us." The journey across light years was brief but intense. Aegis Prime adjusted to the cosmic environment in real time, testing its shields against radiation storms, recalibrating weapons in the face of asteroid belts, and learning the subtle gravitational patterns of uncharted systems. Its AI, nicknamed Athena, analyzed millions of simulations per second, preparing strategies for every conceivable battle. On board, the crew underwent intensive drills. Tactical officers coordinated maneuvers, engineers fine-tuned adaptive systems, and Leora led her team through simulations of Zalari ambushes, sabotage operations, and planetary strikes. "Humans fight differently," Leora said during one briefing. "We don't just follow orders. We improvise. We adapt, and now we have a ship that can do the same. Aegis Prime will fight the way we fight, and the galaxy has never faced anything like us." At Valara Prime, the Zalari began to notice anomalies. Supply convoys vanished without warning. Remote outposts reported strange disturbances in communication and sensor networks. The Zalari dismissed them at first, assuming minor technical failures or human error. Then the first reports of human fighter squads reaching enemy strongholds arrived. These weren't conventional attacks. Small, agile craft moved with precision, bypassing defenses, disrupting logistics, and retreating before Zalari reinforcements could respond. Commander Leora received a secure transmission from Dr. Celine Kaur. "Phase 1 is underway," Celine said. "Aegis Prime is in position. Tactical AI has identified weaknesses in Zalari supply lines. You have authorization to engage if necessary." Leora's fingers hovered over the control console. "We need to remind them that humans are not negotiators to be trifled with." The first engagement was almost anticlimactic. A Zalari scouting fleet approached a human mining colony on Valara Prime, expecting minimal resistance. Suddenly, adaptive shields flared, energy cannons fired in precise bursts, and the Zalari ships found themselves trapped in an invisible net of coordinated attacks. Human fighters struck from multiple directions, exploiting weaknesses that Athena had predicted. Within minutes, the scouting fleet was neutralized without a single human casualty. On board Aegis Prime, the AI displayed a log, enemy tactics identified. Weaknesses exploited. Probability of Zalari reinforcements defeating human forces, near zero. Leora allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had always survived by thinking, by adapting, by being clever in ways no other species expected. Now the universe was learning the same lesson, but the victory was not without cost. Across the galaxy, the Xelari observed the attacks with growing alarm. Their diplomats scrambled to communicate, hoping to prevent escalation. Their military commanders, however, prepared for a counterstrike, realizing that humans were no longer the passive negotiators they had assumed. As night fell on Valara Prime, Leora convened her crew. Tonight, humanity makes a statement. We do not attack for conquest. We strike to protect, to survive, to remind the galaxy of our ingenuity, and the message is simple: underestimate humans at your own risk. Meanwhile, back in Earth orbit, Dr. Selene monitored Aegis Prime's performance in real time. The warship had exceeded expectations. Every system was functioning beyond predicted capacity. Its quantum drives moved faster than simulations allowed. Its adaptive AI had already learned from the Xelari strategy. Selene allowed herself a rare moment of pride. Humanity had not just built a ship. They had created a force capable of turning the tide of interstellar politics. The next few days saw a series of bold maneuvers. Human fighter squadrons liberated small colonies under threat, intercepted supply convoys, and disrupted communications networks across multiple star systems. Everywhere the Xelari had assumed control, humans now demonstrated presence, precision, and relentless strategy. And yet, through it all, humanity maintained restraint. No planet was destroyed unnecessarily. No civilian life harmed. Every action was measured, deliberate, and strategic. Humans fought, but they did so with a code that made their victories honorable, feared, and respected. In a remote sector, the Xelari High Council convened. Their leaders, for the first time, faced a troubling realization. Humans were nothing like other species they had encountered. Humans could adapt, improvise, and endure in ways that defied expectation. The council debated feverishly. Some argued for surrender, others for all-out war. But one thing was clear: humanity had changed the rules. Commander Leora, aboard Horizon's Dawn, reflected on the unfolding events. The galaxy had assumed humans would negotiate, would retreat, would hesitate. But humanity's greatest strength was not their ships, their weapons, or even their numbers. It was their courage, their ingenuity, and their refusal to be underestimated. And above it all, in the shadow of distant stars, Aegis Prime waited, learning, adapting, and ready to show the galaxy the true meaning of human resilience. The Xelari had assumed humans would negotiate. Humanity had prepared to fight. And now the first moves of an interstellar chess game were unfolding, with humans clearly ahead of their opponents. The galaxy was about to witness a new power rising, not through fear alone, but through intelligence, strategy, and the unyielding determination of humanity. And the story of Aegis Prime, the ship that would change the balance of power across the stars, was only beginning. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. A small human fleet led by Aegis Prime had begun moving through the outer sectors of the Xelari-controlled systems. Word traveled quickly across star systems. Humans were bold, fast, and unpredictable. For centuries, civilizations had measured power in size, numbers, and firepower. Humans, however, brought ingenuity, courage, and the ability to learn faster than any algorithm could predict. Commander Leora Vance stood on the bridge of Horizon's Dawn, watching the massive silhouette of Aegis Prime through the tactical display. The warship gleamed with energy, its adaptive shields pulsing faintly as it scanned the sector. Surrounding it, dozens of human fighters moved like swarms of starlings, perfectly synchronized, guided by AI and human skill alike. "Tactical report," Leora ordered. Enzo Real's fingers danced over the console. Xelari supply convoys detected, approaching the mining colonies. They are heavily armed, but their formations are predictable. Athena suggests a multi-vector attack, striking simultaneously from 3 directions. Probability of success, 98%. Leora's lips curved in a slight smile. Then we proceed. Humanity does not wait for the enemy to strike first. The first engagement began at the edge of the Greyland sector. Xelari ships emerged from hyperspace, their triangular hulls glinting under the light of distant suns. They expected resistance, perhaps a few patrol fighters, but nothing like the formation they now faced. Athena, Aegis Prime's AI, coordinated every movement. Shields adjusted in real time, energy cannons predicted and countered enemy maneuvers, and the adaptive weapon arrays shifted form to exploit weaknesses in the Xelari fleet. Small human fighters, piloted by highly trained crews, darted between the larger ships, striking critical systems before retreating into the safety of energy shields. Firing pattern Delta 7, Enzo announced. Initiating. Energy beams lanced through space, striking the Zalari vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The aliens were momentarily stunned. Nothing had hit them like this before. Their counterattacks were predicted and intercepted. One by one, the Zalari ships faltered. In less than an hour, the entire convoy was neutralized. Human fighters regrouped, scanning for survivors. Leora's voice carried calm authority over the bridge. Check for any escape pods. We take no prisoners if they surrender, but we ensure minimal collateral damage. Even amidst victory, the human crew remembered their principles. Civilians on mining colonies were safe. Infrastructure remained intact. The goal was to defend and assert human presence, not to destroy without purpose. As reports flooded in from across the sector, news spread like wildfire. Human strikes were precise, decisive, and restrained. Other civilizations began to take notice. Rumors of the human warship capable of learning and adapting reached distant systems, and with it came a mixture of awe and fear. Meanwhile, the Zalari High Council convened in panic. Their commanders had underestimated the humans. These are not ordinary humans, one commander barked. They do not fight like anyone we have known. Their tactics change faster than we can respond. Another shook his head. They learn from every encounter. If we continue like this, we will lose entire systems before we can regroup. A third voice, calm but cold, finally spoke. Then perhaps it is time to escalate. Send reinforcements. Destroy any colony that resists. Show them that humans are not untouchable. But it was too late. Humans had already moved beyond Valara Prime, liberating colonies under threat and disrupting Zalari supply lines. Aegis Prime's presence alone forced the aliens to stretch their defenses thin. On the bridge of Aegis Prime, Commander Leora monitored the progress of her crews. Each human fighter squad executed maneuvers that had been impossible in previous wars. The AI had learned from every previous encounter, adapting strategies instantly. The ship itself seemed alive, moving and responding as if it were a single intelligent organism. Incoming message from Zalari Command, Enzo announced. Leora raised an eyebrow. Put it through. The holographic image of a Zalari commander appeared, jagged and angular, its glowing eyes fixed on her. Humans, it said, its translated voice harsh and resonant. Cease your attacks immediately. Your actions are illogical. You will not survive further aggression. Leora leaned forward, her voice calm but firm. We have no desire for unnecessary war, but we will defend ourselves and any colonies under threat. The galaxy has assumed humans are negotiators. That assumption ends now. The Zalari commander stiffened, then vanished from the display. For the first time, humans had seen fear in the alien ranks. That evening, Leora walked through the corridors of Aegis Prime, observing her crew. Engineers monitored systems with quiet efficiency. Pilots prepared for the next engagement. Tactical officers reviewed potential strike plans. The ship was alive with purpose, and every human aboard felt it. They were part of something greater than themselves. A force designed to protect humanity and remind the galaxy that humans were clever, courageous, and unstoppable when cornered. Suddenly, a warning light flashed on the bridge. Unidentified fleet emerging from hyperspace, Enzo reported. Multiple vessels. Unknown technology. They do not match Zalari signatures. Leora's eyes narrowed. Unknown species? Keep weapons ready. Athena, analyze their technology and predict potential threats. The AI's calm voice responded. Analyzing. Predictive models indicate high probability of hostility. Unknown fleet is capable of energy-based projectiles and advanced maneuvering. Estimated advantage over Zalari ships, significant. Probability of human success if engaged without strategy, 55%. Leora's expression hardened. Then we fight smart. Humans do not retreat, but we do not charge blindly. Prepare defense protocols and wait for my command. As the unknown fleet approached, human fighters formed protective formations around Aegis Prime. The massive warship hummed with power, shields flaring as sensors scanned every vessel. Leora realized that humanity's reputation as negotiators had ended. Now, humans were a force to be respected, feared, and admired. In the distance, the Zalari, watching from their command posts, realized that humans were far more than a nuisance. The first strike had been a warning, a demonstration of ingenuity and courage. Now humans were moving boldly into alien territory, liberating worlds, disrupting supply lines, and showing the galaxy a new standard of resilience. Even as humans engaged in battle, their principles remained intact. No civilian world was harmed, no unnecessary destruction occurred, and every victory was achieved through intelligence, strategy, and skill. This was not mindless aggression. It was deliberate, decisive action that combined the best of human adaptability and technological innovation. Night fell over the Greenland sector. Leora remained on the bridge watching reports from the field. The Zilari were regrouping, but humans had already set the pace of the conflict. Across the galaxy, civilizations whispered about the humans and their supreme warship, unsure whether to ally with them, fear them, or prepare for future conflict. Athena's voice cut through the quiet. Commander, predictive models indicate the Zilari will attempt direct confrontation within 48 hours. Probability of human success in a defensive engagement, 87%. Leora nodded. Then we prepare. Humanity does not wait for the enemy to make the first move. We act, we defend, we adapt. That is what makes us strong. For the first time in interstellar history, humans were no longer underestimated. They had struck first, decisively and with honor. They had reminded the galaxy of one undeniable truth. Humans survive, not because they are the largest or the strongest, but because they are clever, adaptable, and fearless in the face of the impossible. The first strike was over, but the war was only beginning. Across the stars, humans were proving a simple lesson. Underestimate humanity, and you will regret it. Above it all, EpicSciFiTales waited, ready to move, to learn, to adapt, and to unleash humanity's full potential across the galaxies. And somewhere in the darkness, far beyond human sight, unknown eyes watched, calculating, waiting. The next challenge was coming, but humanity, as always, would meet it head-on. The galaxy had assumed humans would negotiate. They had learned their first hard lesson: humans fight. And when humans fight, they do so with unmatched ingenuity, courage, and resolve. The human fleet moved like a silent storm across the outer sectors. News of their victories over the Zilari had spread quickly, and whispers of the human supreme warship, EpicSciFiTales, reached even the most distant civilizations. What had begun as a defensive campaign to protect human colonies was now a larger mission: to show the galaxy that humanity was a force unlike any other. Commander Leora, Vance stood on the bridge of Horizon's Dawn, flanked by her officers. The stars outside shimmered with the light of distant suns, but it was the report streaming through the tactical console that commanded her attention. Multiple Zilari fleets are retreating, Enzo Real reported, his voice steady but tinged with awe. They've begun abandoning their outer colonies. Human strikes have forced them to consolidate. Leora allowed herself a brief smile. Good, we fight to defend, not conquer. But humans will not allow tyranny to thrive unchecked. Even as humans pushed forward, their principles remained intact. Every liberated colony received aid and protection. Civilians were evacuated from danger zones, resources were redistributed to ensure survival, and human forces left minimal damage behind. Humanity's victories were not only military but moral, a testament to their ingenuity and ethics. Athena, the AI controlling EpicSciFiTales, coordinated every move. Its adaptive systems scanned hundreds of potential threats across multiple star systems, predicting enemy maneuvers and optimizing human responses in real time. Where other civilizations relied solely on brute force, humans combined technology and strategy with creativity, improvisation, and intuition. In one sector, the human fleet encountered a planet under Zilari occupation. The colonists had lived under alien rule for decades, their resources extracted and their freedoms restricted. Leora gave orders to liberate the planet with precision and speed. Fighters, prepare for insertion, she commanded. Remember, minimize damage and protect civilians at all costs. Human craft descended from orbit like swarms of fireflies, striking key enemy installations while avoiding populated areas. Energy pulses from EpicSciFiTales disabled alien defenses, and Zilari troops found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Within hours, the planet was free, its inhabitants celebrating humanity as saviors rather than conquerors. The news reached other civilizations quickly. Ambassadors from distant star systems sent messages of gratitude and admiration. Some sought alliances, recognizing the strength and honor of humans. Others, curious or cautious, observed from afar, unsure whether to fear, ally, or challenge them. But not all attention was friendly. Unknown observers, cloaked in shadows beyond human sensors, watched EpicSciFiTales' movements with calculating eyes. They were not Zalari. Their technology was unfamiliar, their motives unclear. Yet the humans' bold advance had caught their notice. Back on Horizon's dawn, Leora gathered her senior officers for a briefing. "We are changing the galaxy," she said. "Not by conquest, not by fear, but by action, by intelligence, and by honor. Every colony we protect, every fleet we outmaneuver sends a message. Humans are strong, clever, and unstoppable when challenged." Jaren Cole, tactical officer, nodded. "Our success so far has forced the Zalari to retreat. But these unknown ships..." "Athena says they are unlike anything we've encountered." Leora frowned. "Then we prepare. Humans do not retreat. We face the unknown, learn from it, and survive." Meanwhile, on Earth, President Alara Miles received reports of human victories across multiple star systems. Humanity's reputation had shifted from hopeful diplomats to a formidable power. The Council debated how best to approach other civilizations now. Some feared escalation. Others celebrated the newfound respect humanity commanded. "Humans have shown what we are capable of," Alara said. "But we must continue to act responsibly. Every action reflects on Earth and all humanity. Our strength must be paired with wisdom." In the midst of this interstellar momentum, Leora and her crew faced an unexpected challenge. A convoy of Zalari reinforcements had coordinated with a fleet of previously unknown ships, likely sent by the mysterious observers. The new fleet moved with precision and speed, clearly intent on testing humanity's capabilities. "Unknown fleet detected," Enzo announced. "They're approaching Zalari reinforcements. Athena predicts engagement in 12 minutes. Estimated threat level, high." Leora's jaw tightened. "Prepare defensive formations. Human fighters maintain readiness. EpicSciFiTales, full alert. We do not underestimate anyone." The first engagement was fierce. The Zalari ships attacked with conventional energy weapons, while the unknown vessels displayed techniques humans had never encountered. Shifting shields, unpredictable maneuvers, and energy patterns designed to confuse targeting systems. But humanity adapted quickly. Athena analyzed every movement, updating attack strategies instantly. Human pilots executed precise strikes, exploiting weaknesses in the unknown ships while countering Zalari assaults. Hours passed in a blur of movement, strategy, and coordinated attacks. Civilians on nearby planets were safely evacuated, and human forces focused solely on neutralizing military targets. By the end of the engagement, the Zalari had suffered heavy losses, and the unknown fleet had retreated, leaving humanity in control of the sector. "Damage report," Leora ordered. "Minimal casualties," Enzo replied. "All human vessels accounted for. Civilian population safe. Enemy fleet severely disrupted." Leora allowed herself a moment of relief. "Good. Humanity fights to survive, to protect, and to inspire. Remember that. Every life saved, every threat neutralized proves what humans can achieve when underestimated." Across the galaxy, reactions varied. Some civilizations sent envoys to request aid and alliances. Others began to reinforce their own defenses, unsure whether to fear humanity or seek partnership. The galaxy was learning quickly that humans were a different kind of power, one that combined courage, ingenuity, ethics, and the willingness to act decisively when challenged. Even as humans celebrated their victories, the shadow of the unknown fleet lingered. Athena continuously analyzed sensor data, searching for patterns, predicting possible attacks, and preparing countermeasures. Leora knew that this was only the beginning. Humans had disrupted the established balance of power. Allies, enemies, and observers alike were now watching closely. Late one evening, Leora walked through the corridors of EpicSciFiTales, observing her crew. Engineers monitored systems with quiet focus. Pilots prepared for the next engagement. Tactical officers simulated potential scenarios, learning from each encounter. Humanity's greatest strength lay not in the size of their fleet or the power of their weapons, but in their adaptability, courage, and teamwork. Dr. Celine Kaur appeared beside her. "They are learning," she said quietly. "The unknown fleet, the Zalari, they are studying us now. But humanity's creativity and courage are unmatched. They will not predict our next moves completely." Leora nodded. We survive because we adapt. We fight because we must protect. And we win because humans do not give up. Every system we reach, every world we defend reminds the galaxy who we are. On the liberated colonies, humans were not only seen as protectors but as symbols of hope. Communities once oppressed by Zalari forces began rebuilding with human assistance. Scientists shared knowledge. Engineers repaired infrastructure, and diplomats facilitated communication among species. Humanity's influence spread not through domination, but through courage, collaboration, and ingenuity. Yet even amidst these successes, the unknown observers remained. Hidden in the far reaches of space, their ships monitored every movement of EpicSciFi, calculating the humans' capabilities. They were curious, cautious, and perhaps concerned. The humans' bold actions had drawn attention far beyond the Zalari threat. Commander Leora returned to the bridge and stared at the stars. We've shown the galaxy that humans will not be underestimated, but we must remain vigilant. There are forces we do not yet understand, challenges we cannot yet see. And when they come, humanity will meet them head-on, as we always have. Athena's voice interrupted her thoughts. Commander, predictive models indicate further unknown fleets may appear within the next solar cycle. Probability of hostile engagement 70%. Then we prepare, Leora said firmly. Humans do not wait. We act, we adapt, we survive. And we will continue to protect the galaxy wherever we are needed. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and humanity's presence was now undeniable. Across systems, civilizations whispered of humans, courageous, clever, honorable, and relentless. They had assumed humans would negotiate. They had learned a different truth. Humans would act, defend, and thrive, even in the face of overwhelming odds. And above it all, EpicSciFi waited, ready to move, ready to learn, ready to unleash humanity's full potential across galaxies yet uncharted. The galaxy had entered a new era. Humans were no longer negotiators, they were protectors, innovators, and a rising force whose influence would be felt across stars. And somewhere in the distance, beyond human sensors, eyes watched, waiting, calculating, and preparing for the next challenge. But humanity was ready. The galaxy would soon understand. Humans fight not only with weapons, but with ingenuity, courage, and an unyielding determination to survive and thrive. The galaxy held its breath. Across star systems, rumors of humanity's victories spread faster than light. Planets once under Zalari control now displayed the human symbol of protection. Humans had acted decisively, demonstrating not just skill but morality, ingenuity, and courage. Yet the Zalari were not finished, and neither was the mysterious unknown intelligence observing EpicSciFi. Commander Leora Vance stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Multiple Zalari fleets were converging on the human-occupied sectors, and reports indicated the unknown vessels had returned. For the first time, the humans faced a combined threat: the Zalari, desperate to reclaim their lost territories, and the mysterious observers, testing humanity's limits. Prepare for engagement, Leora ordered. This will be the largest coordinated attack we've faced. Human fighters, shield your sectors. EpicSciFi, deploy full defensive protocols. Enzo Real's fingers flew across the console. Enemy fleets closing in. Estimated engagement in 7 minutes. Unknown ships are emitting energy signatures unlike anything we've seen. AI suggests adaptive countermeasures, but probability of success drops if we engage prematurely. Leora nodded. Then we wait. We strike at the perfect moment. Humanity fights with strategy, not impulse. As the enemy fleets approached, EpicSciFi hummed with power. Shields flared and stabilized, energy weapons aligned, and the adaptive AI, Athena, continuously scanned and predicted every potential attack pattern. Human fighters swarmed in synchronized formations, ready to defend every vulnerable point. The first strike came from the Zalari, firing energy beams at human positions. Yet each attack was intercepted, neutralized, or redirected by EpicSciFi's adaptive systems. The unknown ships tested human defenses with unpredictable maneuvers, shifting shields and energy pulses that disrupted targeting. But humans adapted instantly, coordinating attacks across multiple fleets, exploiting weaknesses and protecting civilian worlds with precision. Leora's voice remained calm over the comms. Remember, we defend, we protect, and we fight with intelligence. Every movement counts. Every life matters. Humanity has never given up, and we will not start now. For hours, the battle raged. Human fighters darted through enemy fire, striking with precision. EpicSciFiTales' weapons adapted to counter alien technologies, predicting attacks before they happened. The AI learned, adjusted, and evolved strategies on the fly. Enemy fleet numbers decreasing, Enzo reported, astonished. Auxiliary formations are breaking. Unknown vessels are retreating in small clusters. Probability of human victory increasing. Leora allowed herself a small smile. They learned too late. Humans never surrender. We survive, we adapt, and we win. Across the battlefield, liberated colonies watched in awe as human forces demonstrated the full scope of their power. EpicSciFiTales moved like a titan among stars, its presence alone reshaping the course of the battle. Civilians cheered as Zalari ships retreated, while unknown fleets disengaged cautiously, realizing humanity was not a threat to negotiate but a force to respect. Back on Earth, President Alara Miles watched reports from EpicSciFiTales. Humanity's place in the galaxy was now undeniable. They assumed we would negotiate, she said softly. They assumed we would hesitate. But humans act with courage, intelligence, and honor, and that is why we succeed. Even amidst victory, Leora knew the battle was not just about ships or weapons. It was about principles. Humanity fought to protect, to survive, and to demonstrate that strength and morality could coexist. Every planet freed, every life preserved, reinforced humanity's reputation as clever, honorable, and relentless. Hours later, the Zalari High Council convened in a state of unprecedented panic. Their fleets had been decimated, their supply lines destroyed, and their colonies liberated. Desperate, they sought negotiations, but now the terms were dictated by humans. Submit, Leora said calmly in the first human-to-Zalari communication since the battle began. You may continue to exist in the galaxy, but you will respect the territories and colonies humans protect. Aggression will not be tolerated. Your fleets must retreat. The Zalari commander hesitated. This is not negotiation. This is surrender. Correct, Leora replied. The galaxy assumed humans would negotiate. They assumed humans would retreat. They underestimated our intelligence, our courage, and our resolve. That mistake is now corrected. The Zalari withdrew from human-occupied systems. Their fleets retreated, no longer confident in their ability to dominate or predict human strategy. For the first time in their history, they recognized the humans as equals, perhaps even superiors in determination and adaptability. But even as peace settled over the former Zalari territories, the mysterious unknown fleet remained a concern. Their presence was subtle but persistent, monitoring every move of EpicSciFiTales. Leora realized that humanity's full story in the galaxy was only beginning. Athena, ever vigilant, analyzed the unknown intelligence. Unknown fleet capabilities exceed Zalari technology in certain areas. Predictive models suggest observation only at this time, with potential for engagement in future cycles. Recommendation: continue strategic expansion while maintaining readiness. Leora nodded. Agreed. Humans do not wait for threats to act. We prepare, we adapt, and we continue to protect. The galaxy will know that humans are not negotiators. They are protectors, innovators, and survivors. Across liberated systems, humans began rebuilding. Scientists and engineers shared knowledge with liberated species. Communities once oppressed by Zalari forces began thriving under human protection. Trade routes reopened, colonies were stabilized, and communication networks were restored. Humanity's influence grew, not by domination but by courage, collaboration, and ingenuity. Even the mysterious unknown fleet seemed to recognize human principles. While their motives remained unclear, they observed without aggressive engagement, perhaps learning, perhaps calculating. Humanity's strength had forced them to reconsider, to respect, and to wait for the next opportunity to understand the human way. Back on Horizon's dawn, Leora gathered her crew for a final briefing. We have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. We have protected the innocent, defended our people, and demonstrated intelligence in combat. But remember this, our work does not end. Every system we touch, every life we protect reflects humanity's values. Courage, ingenuity, and honor will guide us forward. The crew stood tall, proud of their achievements. They had faced overwhelming odds, adapted to unknown technologies, and emerged victorious. Humanity had proven, beyond doubt, that it was a rising force in the galaxy, a species not to be underestimated, never to be ignored, and always to be respected. In the distance, HFY glided through star clusters, its adaptive AI ready to learn and respond to any new challenge. The galaxy had assumed humans would negotiate. Humans had acted. They had fought with strategy, courage, and intelligence. They had won. And the story of humanity was now written among the stars. On the bridge, Leora looked out into the vast expanse of the galaxy, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of achievement. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy will remember. Humans survive, humans adapt, and humans fight. Not for conquest, but for survival, protection, and honor. And when humans fight, they fight with everything they have," Athena responded in her calm, precise tone. "Predictive models suggest continued expansion and influence. Humanity's reputation will grow exponentially. Future threats will calculate human ingenuity before action. Probability of deterrent success 99%. Leora smiled. "Good, let them calculate. Let them learn. Humanity's journey across the stars has just begun, and we will meet every challenge with courage, intelligence, and honor. The galaxy has learned the truth. Humans are not negotiators to be underestimated. Humans are a force unmatched in creativity, strategy, and resilience." As HFY moved silently through the cosmos, humans across the galaxy celebrated, rebuilt, and looked forward to the future. The Zolari had been humbled. Unknown observers had taken notice, and humanity had secured its place among the stars, not through fear or domination, but through intelligence, courage, and an unwavering refusal to be underestimated. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere beyond the farthest reaches of space, unknown eyes watched, aware now that humanity was not to be ignored, misjudged, or underestimated again. Humanity had unleashed its potential, and the stars themselves had taken notice.